Anyway, and it is a clean start for the front drivers. Certainly it is Ongaro from Barufalo as they go away. In third place will be Boots. Fourth place is McBride. Fifth, Canas. And sixth is Runner Falcon's made a place up already. He's got past Valente. So Barufalo is the man giving chase to Ongaro at the start of this race. Barufalo, of course, has only done 2 of these events. And he's out of it already. So Ongaro immediately gets a free lead because Barufalo falls out of second. But that means that the chasing pack is now led by Elliott Boots. So Ongaro gets that perfect start he's been wanting and getting most of the time. It's McBride third. Runner Falcon up to fourth. So he's obviously giving himself, showing he's meaning business. But Ongaro leads. Let's drop back to second place because Ongaro's already made a nice little lead for himself and see what Boots and the chasing pack can do. Boots now accelerating up and away. So the lead at the end of that lap was 2.5 seconds already as Ongaro sets off to break the spirit of the rest of the pack. Just down on lap 2 of 88. We're with Elliott Boots running second. He's got third and fourth, getting a bit closer, which is the McBride and Ronnefout triumphant, and Canas in fifth. McBride, just dropped back. Oh, no, that's interesting. So Canas now picks up third. McBride way back now. I'm not sure what's going to happen to Ronnefout on that one. That might be a stop-go for Ronnefout. Let's drop back to Ronnefout, please. He's the green car, a couple of cars back from where you are. I think you know what he looks like. That's it. So I think Ronnefout may pick up a stop and go for that. I'm not sure. It was quite 6 1/2 dozen the other. Nope, looks like he's got away with it. Let's find out. No, there's still more chatting from Mao going on. But it's Ongaro who leads from Boots. From Canas and Ronnefout are on camera now. Still going over Ronnefout's going to pick up a stop-go. Because these two are the guys who can stop Ongaro becoming the champion. But obviously at the moment, that's going to involve a problem for Ongaro. So let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Ongaro. Canas and Ronnefout. Every single time there's a minute, I'm just wondering whether I don't know. I'm just, for some reason, every time Ronnefout goes past Mao saying something, we haven't got a direct link to Mao, but it looks like I think Ronnefout would have gone in by now. But so it's Canas in third, Ronnefout in fourth. Canas just gapping Ronnefout now. Gapping everyone is Ongaro. He's got a lead now, 4.5 seconds from Boots. Boots is a little bit ahead of Canas. Canas a little bit ahead of Ronnefout. Then it's Valente, Martin, Barufalo. McBride's back up to 8th again after that, after being turned over in the incident with Ronnefout. And Ronnefout does indeed have a stop and go. So he waited for 3 laps to serve it, which he's allowed to do. And there we go. So he gave himself as long as possible to gap, to put himself into clear air. But Ronnefout did get a stop and go for that incident with McBride a couple of laps ago. Valente ahead of him, so it means he's dropped only down to 6th place. And 5th now, because Valente's made a mistake. As Ronnefout climbs back up the Infinity turn and moves it. So we now already have quite a split situation as the attack of the various cars has eased back. As Ronnefout on camera looks to make, but he's actually been caught up with. They just dropped back one car, and you've got the Martin against Barufalo battle, which is 6 and 7. Just keep an eye on the people though, just so you know, Ongaro going fine at the moment. We haven't even got the first pit stops yet. There's been many of those. And this is the battle of 5th and 6th. And a little nibbly touch there. I mean, there's quite a lot of nibbly touch in Barufalo's involved, but he's only had himself to blame so far. He rolled out of 2nd place at the end of the end of the first lap, really. First full lap. Looking to get up the inside line of Martin there. Martin for the Infinity team, Barufalo for Beach RC. Martin underneath now, so it's the yellow and blue car, which is Barufalo, and the orange and red car, orange and white car, sorry, which is Martin. And they drop down before they go flying over the the bridge and into the Z section. Bruffalo very much. Problem with Bruffalo, I think he tries to do everything on the brakes. So, no, that was quite clean in the end. Got right, that was as close as disaster you'd like to see. Now he's got him on the switch back there, so basically cut inside. And that's what I'm saying, that worked that time. He does do everything on the brakes, and of course, problem is you have the danger of sliding into people or sliding across people. That time he just got up the inside, effectively squared off the corner and did the old-fashioned thing of the switchback and got past Martin. His next target, Bruffalo, will be the car of David Ronefalk. That's a relatively gap away, so this is the 5th place that Bruffalo has. Ongaro leads, Boots is second by 6 seconds. Canas actually is beginning to get closer to Boots, so we'll have a little look at that. Let's pick up Elliot Boots. Elliot Boots is on the infield now, and he's about to switch under the bridge now, so then behind him is Canas. So Boots and Canas. And there's Boots. The gap to Canas has been dropping. Unsurprisingly, fast lap so far is by Ongaro. Canas, is apart from the last round, was on the podium in every single time. So the white wheels, actually both got white wheels. The red and white, orangey red car is that of Elliot Boots from the UK. The Spaniard, Juan Carlos Canas, is in the blue and red car. They're both in the same team. They're both the S-Works international drivers. They're the two of them. And this is good news for S-Works and their attempt to win the team's title, which certainly cannot be decided today. And still, gradually creeping away from everybody is Ongaro, who's now 7 seconds to the good. Then you've got this gap you can see here for second and third. There he is, flying in the background was Canas there. And then Canas is 5 seconds over Ronefalk. Ronefalk is 2 seconds over Bruffalo. Bruffalo 1.5 over Martin, and Martin a little bit over Leonardo Valente. So the infield seen from the different angle as they dive under the bridge. And in front, got away with it, but lost half a second. So that was just a kind of a basic slow grip roll where Elliot's heart would be in his mouth as it went to halfway, and then he would have gone as it landed on its wheels. So Canas now right up the exhaust pipe, literally, because these cars do have exhaust pipes of Boots as we turn 11 laps. So they're actually now into uncharted territory for today. They haven't done more than 11 laps. They did 20, of course, yesterday. 22 on the 2 legs of the final. Man, Ongaro must have stopped for fuel last time round because he's suddenly right in the sights of this team. So yeah, Ongaro stopped a lap before everyone else. Suddenly saw a flash of orange wing there. Well, that's a bit funny it's so close, but it's because it's a lap earlier. Ongaro stopped for fuel 1 lap before everyone else. I'm not sure whether that's going to be an issue moving on because he actually did make 11, so he'll be stopping every time on the 11th lap. Boots stays second. Canas stays third as everyone now completes their first stops, it seems. No one's doing anything clever. No, what has happened, it appears, is that Bruffalo may not have come in because he's gained quite a bit. So Bruffalo has been a gainer during that pit stop sequence. We're still with Boots in second. Canas looking to try and get back at his teammate. But the gap remains about a second and a half. Another lap turn up through Advertisers Alleyway. Behind them is Ronefalk, Bruffalo, Martin, Lee. Hara's up in 8th, Mort's 9th, which is like the highest he's been all day. And then you have Ravalia, Vidmeyer, McBride is having a bit of a disaster after a good start. Quad Green and Gelfer again. So you wouldn't say that Boots isn't pushing it. He's giving it all he can. Coming underneath the wooded section. Well, the wood's on the outside, you know, so there isn't actually a wood on the track. That would make it quite a difficult slalom. Thing to remember is, as this race moves into its second phase, so from 44 laps onwards, then we start looking at tyre wear and how well your car is working in the heat, and will everything carry on going properly. But at the moment, our Ongaro, who has absolutely dominated this race in this event and this season so far, is dominating this race as well. He's got a 9.7 second lead over this man, Elliott Boots, with Juan Carlos Canas a further second and a half back. Drop back to Canas, drop back one car, just have a bit of a change of scenery. Canas in third. Young Spaniard, and a good sequence of results today. But, yeah, I mean, Ongaro is good, but the enigma of how good he's been in RCGP is strange. I mean, he didn't win at the long final of the DXR. He didn't win the long final in the Euros. In the Euros, he was very, very, very quick, but he wasn't outstandingly done. The fastest time going to win. You thought he had a good chance. He was a favourite, but this sort of dominance he's showing against similar drivers just wasn't there. So there's something about the RCGP format that obviously really, really appeals to Davide Ongaro. Now, Marco Barufalo, so what Marco Barufalo does, he's put in the fastest lap we've seen of 38.8, but that's just actually bringing him closer to Ronefalk. Where's that action happening? Oh, he's dropped off again now, so he made a good lap and a bad lap, so he was close, and then he dropped off. So that isn't happening. That exciting bit of action I was hoping for. And the lead creeps out. Let's pick up our lead. Not see much of him. He's about to go over start-finish with the orange wingtips, multiple-coloured car. That is Davide Ongaro. Let's give him a bit of love whilst everyone else settles down. The Scuderia Scampirosso team driver, teammate to Patrick Hoffer. Well, Patrick Hoffer's in last, so they are bookending the entire field at the moment. With these 1/8 nitro off-road cars. The nitro fuel, it's not petrol, it's nitro, which is a mixture of various oils, like it's castor oil and nitromethane. Two-stroke engines, 3.5 cc's, producing about 2.2, 2.6 horsepower, depending. So, huge amount of power. Centrifugal clutches and single-speed gearboxes. If you watch the track version of these cars, they actually have a 2-speed gearbox in them, but for these cars, they never really reach those high speeds a track car reach, because they're obviously braking, turning and jumping the whole time, so they have the single-speed box despite being a nitro fuel. So they're not far off a horsepower per cc, which would make it an interesting situation. The off-road and the on-road engines are similar. They're both 3.5 cc engines, but the on-road engines have a lot more ports, it said, which is a lot more power. They are designed to be a bit less flexible and have a lot more power. A little bit more peaky and a bit more temperamental. These engines need to be a little bit more able to run in wider zones of heat and everything else, because the air filters get clogged up, the dust and everything else. So they're a little bit more, let's say, robust and less temperamental, because they are running in a difficult situation as such. So, but no difficult situation for Davide Ongaro here with his Scampi Rosso team, just flying around at the moment. Our car goes past on its back. I think he's put a lap on a couple of the drivers now. I think he's put a lap on 3 of them, maybe. Is that him putting a lap on McBride? No, that was a lap on Ravaglia. So he's lapped the bottom 3 already. And we are only 20 laps in, not quite in a quarter of the way through. His lead on the field is 10.3 seconds. Boots has been a bit of a winner recently. He's managed, I just wonder whether we're coming up to stops again now. Because of the fact that Boots has suddenly got a big lead over Canas. I would think that Ongaro will go in next lap probably to pit. We are 20 competing. We're just under quarter way through this race. Valente and Barufalo having a bit of a scrap it. Barufalo a longer lap. Problem with Barufalo is longer laps could be a fuel stop. It could be an accident. You can't really tell. He's always so much on the edge that things are just constantly a change of whatever's happening. As lap 21 is turned by our leader here, and he puts another lap on. Puts a lap on Max Mort. Next victim is Misha Vidmar in that green car ahead of him. But I would think he'll be going a little bit wide, yep, and in for fuel for Davide Ongaro. The well-drilled team. Mauro Ongaro, his father, and his mechanic, release the car. And here he comes, having completed that successfully. Let's let him go at this corner and pick up Elliott Boots. should be next one along in a few seconds. Not sure how many seconds. It's a bit closer now because they're on a slightly different strategy. So Boots gains 5 or 6 seconds here in the second place 58 car, the S-Works machine. For once, he'll be scored quite close. Yeah, it's 3.5 seconds, but that's because Boots owes us a pit stop, which will be done by his team, Mario Rossi, the Reds engine manufacturer. I noticed has come down for today, so I'm not sure he'll be involved in the pit stop strategy. There we go. No, it's 2 of the S-Works team who are doing it. And he leaves it out there, and it'll then wander back out. We'll have to see what happens when the stagger unwinds. My guess is it's going to go back out to 9 or 10 seconds again. And we look in this period to see where we can begin a gradual gain back to Ongaro. When we look at Elliot Boots, of course, is a double European champion. So no slouch. Won those in 15 and 16, I think. Those years do blend together. It could be 16 and 17. No, 15 and 16, I think. Thing to remember is, interesting, Ongaro, despite being world champion at this sport, he's never been European champion at this particular class of racing. Oddly, he won a completely different class, electric two-wheel drive, which is normally a specialist class not won by people who do anything else, last week in Italy, down the road in Pinerolo. So it's a weird situation. He couldn't win the class he's famous for, but won a class that normally only specialists win. So it just goes to show you, A, he's got a lot of talent, and B, weird things happen in one-shot environments. That's what the European and the World Championships are. They're one-shot environments. RCGP is a series, and the series is suiting Ongaro because he is currently on key to win it with a round to go. Those rounds to be in Thunderhill in California. We are off to California A in the United States. The RCGP World Series will encompass its 3rd continent in America at Thunder Alley in California, and the 2nd weekend of October will be live across the weekend. It's been an interesting time zone for all you in Europe. I have to stay up late to see these finals because, of course, California 7 hours behind mainland Europe and 8 hours behind the UK. So I'll probably get the race off at 3, it'll be about 10 or 11, so it's nice nighttime viewing, a cup of cocoa to see the finals when they come up. That was Elliot Boots also putting a lap on Marco Revalia. Revalia, first time here with Beach RC. Good little driver, good guy. Did well in the Euros, got into the main final. Struggled a little bit with the format here. I think he probably needs another event to get his head around it. But very quick driver with the orange and white car behind Boots at the moment, but a lap behind Boots. Boots has managed to break Canas 6 seconds. Ronafount is 3 seconds behind Canas. Barufalo, therefore, further 6 seconds behind in 5th. And it's Martin in 6th, Hara in 7th. This is Hara's best showing of the weekend. He's basically out of practice. The 2008 world champion is basically just out of practice, which is a weird thing to say for a man who's made his living from racing. In fact, let's see if we can pick up. I'll just wait till Hara goes past me, and we'll try and pick up Hara. It'll be a few seconds yet. We'll carry on where we are, and I'll give the boys a stake of where Atsushi is. And he's coming under the bridge right now, Hara, and he's the pink car beneath you right now, Harry. That is Atsushi Hara, absolute legend of RC racing, the man who won the Touring Car World Championship in 2000, which is 19 years ago. He's 39 now, which is the worrying thing. He won this class, won the World Championship in 2008. He was 2nd in 2010 in one of the greatest races of all time, which he lost to Cody King. He was in the first round of RCGP in Manila, but he had a kind of he said himself he was very, very rusty, and he was also at that point changing chassis every 2 minutes, which wasn't helping, as he tried to find a home after going freelance as far as chassis was concerned. Possibly one of the most versatile drivers ever. He's been in the world final in 6, we counted, of the 7 potential European world champions you can be in at the moment. He's been in the main final of 6 and hasn't competed in the 7th, the large-scale one. Re-signed by HB to do their technical development and car development, and has now also joined HB for this race in their team, and being a little bit more stuck in his way, and a little bit more happy by getting some setup help from Ronald Falcon, working again with Adrian Bertin. Hara running in 6th now, enjoying this particular performance much better than many others. And, you know, as they always say, form is temporary, you know, talent is permanent. and Hara has talent in spades, but he has been not on the greatest form. And more importantly, he's been out of practice. So every sort of minute this guy's wheeling one of these cars, he's going to be wheeling it further and further and further towards the front. Still Ongaro leads. Boots second, Canas third. We're not quite even close to halfway yet. We're just about third way, actually, if you can say that. Boots has actually only lost about 0.8 of a second in the last 5 minutes. So it looks like they've all stabilised down. Hara, we're watching, is the last person not lapped now. So coming up behind Hara will be Ongaro in a second. There's another car that's about to be double lapped, which I think is probably Hoffer. I'm not quite sure who it is. Someone's going to be double lapped because they are behind. Yeah, Ongaro now has with a second lap on somebody, probably McBride or Hoffer. And then we have Hara on camera, currently in 6th, who's going to be lapped in a second. Hara still. Completes another lap. Boots is now 12 seconds back from Ongaro. The car behind Hara is Ongaro. Or is it Ongaro? No, there it's Ongaro. Yeah, Ongaro hasn't actually gained that much on Hara in the last couple of laps. It was just Lee Martin looks like he's coming in to retire, unfortunately. I think Martin's got technical issues coming in to retire by the looks of it. Coming underneath again, Hara. Sort of waiting for the inevitable, really, which will be an overtaking move by Ongaro. And saying that, I think Ongaro stopped for fuel. Because, yeah, Ongaro, I think, has stopped for fuel because he's now suddenly not where he was a second ago. So Ongaro now is into the fuel stop windows. Just give it a little bit of breathing space and you'll see Boots a bit closer. There's also a load of traffic as well, actually, Ongaro. Boots is now will be running up close. That lap time, yep, it's a fuel stop for Ongaro. So Boots pulls the lead down to 5 seconds. So, yeah, he's lost 2 seconds over the last run of fuel stops. As Hara makes a mistake. Just a simple grip roll, which means that when he does come in for fuel, he'll get lapped. It's quite worrying, isn't it? Valenti didn't get past him, though. So he remains nailed on in 6th position. Yep. Welcome. So Hara. So what we need to do is drop back a couple of places to our leader, it's Ongaro. You've got Valenti first, then Ongaro. So Ongaro with the orange wingtips, that's your man. 34 of the 88 laps down. Lead after the end of the fuel sequence is now 12 seconds. Interesting, Ronefalt is right with Boots, and was right with Boots, because I think he's running a lap even longer. So there's a kind of a lengthy lap swap image from the various drivers, and Ronefalt now drops back down again to 7 seconds behind. Ronefalt and Canas seem very close. So Ronefalt and Canas really close. Yeah, they are. Okay, down to. I'll stop that because there's about 3 other cars having an accident in front of me. There are 6 cars all having an accident, which is quite. Yeah, so we now need to go to Satellite Corner because coming down is Ronefalt and Canas, who are right back together again as they fight for 3rd and 4th. Ronefalt's just got slightly ahead of Canas now. Canas in the blue and the red, Ronefalt in the green and the yellow with a bit of white. It's the Swede from HB Racing, the HB Performer car, and it's the S-Works machine of Juan Carlos Canas behind him. So Ronefalt picks up that 3rd place, moving forward, but he's still 20 seconds off the lead, and one of these two needs to find a way of bridging a 20-second gap, which seems a bit unlikely. So coming out the fuel stops, they're very close together, but Ronefalt again now looking a little bit quicker. Ronefalt is the fastest of the top 3 at the moment. 39.4 for Ongaro, 39.9 for Boots and a 39 flat for Ronefalk. So Ronefalk in this middle phase has got some pace in the car. And he was saying to us earlier, the biggest problem he's got is having to drive so close to the edge to get this pace. It's just not comfortable. Wasn't comfortable for 11 laps. How on earth is he going to be comfortable for 88? I've no idea. So he's going to come up soon to pass JQ, who's just been going backwards all day. And needs to get out of the way from his fellow Scandinavian. He does. Gets into a gap now between himself and the car of Canas as they switch back onto the infield. And I think, I'm not sure if Lee Martin's running again. Lee Martin certainly had to make a long pit stop and is currently in last. Ongaro's lead out to 14 seconds now, so he's now put the hammer down again, or Boots has lost a bit of pace. So there's still quite a big possibility. The second, third and fourth could be very much up for grabs as we move towards the back end of this race. Just want to point out we're not halfway yet. In these long hour finals, it's all very tactical. It's all very much about, you know, yes, going out the front and winning by a long way and being fast is a great idea. Doesn't always work. Tell Harry about the timing bar. With Ronefalk now just easing away again. That lap round he was a couple of tenths faster than Boots. He was half a second faster than Ongaro. I think a lot of maybe traffic actually, because Ongaro and certainly been mired in the lappery that's going on. But in that one round, you can see that Canas has gained over this last lap. He's right behind him. I assume that's going to mean, no, they went at pretty similar speed. So Canas just went a couple of tenths faster. And that was enough to stick him right on the tail of Ronefalk. They just got past Kyle McBride, who's been lapped. He probably isn't that happy to see Ronefalk, because the reason he's suffering down at the back is because of a bit of an accident early on between the two of them. We are now 40 laps down. Ronefalk and Canas have been nailed together for virtually the entirety of the race. They go for Advertisers Alleyway. These are the guys actually fighting over second in the championship, and for the sake of excitement, they're fighting over being the person who can stop Ongaro being declared champion. But as it stands at the moment, that isn't going to happen. And we're getting to the point now where unless there's going to be a huge ebb and flow, we have seen a huge ebb when someone gets their tyre choice completely wrong, and in the second half of the race they're losing 2 seconds a lap. But unless that happens, it's going to need some bad luck for Ongaro, which nobody wishes on anybody, for this not to see Ongaro win, or at least pick up second place. Though it is very stable at the front now. 39.1 for Ongaro, 39.5, 38. Oh, wow, Ronefalk just put his fastest lap of the entire race, 38.9. So 38.928, so that's the fastest lap he's managed to do. Admittedly, that was only 2 tenths faster than Canas. Now, there was something, the good news for those of us who like race action is what's happening is rather than slowing each other up, it appears that Canas and Ronefalk are dragging each other along. So they're well in their rhythm now. Ronefalk, fastest man on track, but not by enough to bridge that 20-second gap he has lost to Ongaro early on. But they are not losing time. They're dragging themselves towards the Italian. And also, more importantly, dragging themselves to Brit in Elliott Boots in second, whose lead now is down to 5.4. 39.6 for Ongaro, 39.2. Boots, 39.3. Ronefalk, 39.4. Canas were the top four. So they're not really moving in relation much to each other at the moment. It's a gradual little creep forward, but a lot of that I would think is because I expect that Ongaro is, as we have now scored 42 laps of 88, is probably easing himself back to safety levels. And half a second is the difference between being right on the edge and having a huge margin in these cars. But Ronefalk, so yeah, Ongaro stopped for fuel that time, so 46, 39 for 9, 39 flat, 39.1. So certainly Ronefalk is slowly gaining on Boots. I'm not sure whether they're going to gain enough to gain a fuel stop on Ongaro. Ongaro went in last time. They've got 2 laps. It's possible actually if they go, because Boots tends to be going in the lap after Ongaro, and these guys a bit later, it's possible they may end up being ahead of Boots on the stagger at one point. And we are now halfway. I think Ongaro might need a splash. Because he's going short of the final destination. So Ongaro may need a splash, but the splash is 4 seconds. And he's living with a 7-second lead. No, they come in now. And Canas comes in now, so it's a battle of the pit stops. Already up and away goes Ronnefout, and I think he may have gained absolutely nothing on Canas in that one. A net gain of nout. And I think ahead of them was Boots, who was also in that time. Yeah, Boots was ahead of him there. So second, third and fourth are going in about a lap later than, or perhaps 2 laps later than Ongaro. I'm not sure if that's going to be the deciding factor. So Ronnefout out of that and over halfway. Turning laps, the key thing about for Ronnefout is he is gaining on second place Boots. In between them is the 10 car, the lap car of McBride. 39.5 for Ongaro with a 15-second lead. 39.1, 39 flat, 38.8 for Canas, who also, I didn't notice, got a 38.7 fast lap ball. So Canas has come out of a pit stop time at absolute full speed. As Ronnefout comes underneath us, there's Canas, the lead, but the gap between them is about 1.5 seconds. I think, except for about a second. It wasn't really eased out a bit, because there's now a car in between them. That's not easy. So Ronnefout, we've got Valente in between Ronnefout and Canas, but more importantly, Ronnefout's going to come up to McBride soon, and then he's getting much, much closer to Boots in second. So that time round, it was 300th of a second he gained, but they all gained 4/10 on Ongaro, who's definitely eased back. Ongaro's gone, let's go inside myself. I have a 15-second lead. I don't need to push this. But second, third and fourth are concertinaing together as we enter the third quarter of this race. Led by Ronnefout over the bridge, turning through the Z section. Now that car ahead of him, a mistake by not a car involved in this whole thing. Mistake was by Martin, got a problem. So the car ahead of him is Boots. So the car ahead of Ronnefout, that car there, that is Elliott Boots, and that is the battle for second and third. So Boots and Ronnefout are right together under the bridge. They're not right together, they are coming together under the bridge. And Boots just a tiny bit ahead of Ronnefout. So Ronnefout now gained on that one, did he? Yep, he gained a 1/10 of a second. And it is Ronnefout now just behind Boots. You can see, move forward to Boots. Let's see the man being chased rather than the chaser, the 58 car. Coming underneath Zach right now. So Boots about to go over. Oh, he gives it a bit of air there. And what's happened to Ronnefout that lap? Ronnefout had that's interesting. Ronnefout, we moved off Ronnefout, he's made a mistake. So Ronnefout's made a mistake whilst we were off him and had a bad lap of 43. Canas had a 40 as well. I wonder if they hit each other in some way or how they're up. So we moved to Boots exactly the wrong time when the other two had an issue. So Ronnefout falls back. Canas now becomes the chaser, and Boots probably had no idea he's in trouble. Apparently he is. So Boots, always the way, isn't it? That's the law of SOD, that you end up moving to the car when the car you weren't on suddenly has a bit of an accident. That time round, Canas gained 0.8 of a second on Boots. So again, it's still looking like second, third and fourth are going to give it a bit of a go. Boots fishtailing it. So Boots turning lap 52. His lead over Canas is not good. Canas has kind of got himself in a bit of a situation where he's got a lot of traffic behind him, which is never useful. So in fact, Canas is one place on the track. In fact, Canas and Ronefag are back together. So drop back to Canas, which is 3 cars back to the red and the blue car. That's it. Who has now got traffic, and he's also got Ronefag right behind him again. And what is noticeable is that Ongaro really isn't trying anymore. Dropped it down to a 39.8. Juan Carlos Canas, Spaniard, flies over the infield. And there's been a mistake by Boots, and Boots has dropped way down. So Canas now, you saw he's upside down. You didn't probably see it, but actually he went past in second place as Boots was upside down. So Canas now takes second. Third is Ronefag, and Boots drops to fourth after Boots lost it on the double coming out of the, going into the satellite turn. So second, third and fourth have swapped round, and Canas is now second. Third is Ronefag. Fourth is Boots after Boots made a mistake. And Canas is 11 seconds behind Ongaro, but that's a false distance because Ongaro has stopped for fuel again. So Canas now picks up the second place in the mantle of chasing Davide Ongaro with 33 laps to go. Ronefag back on him, as you can see, him hopping in the background there by about 1.1 seconds. Just out of frame, the Canas-Ronefag battle. Boots there and thereabouts as well in fourth place. Everyone now up to fifth place being lapped as Canas comes into fuel. My guess is they all came in. So it's all 3 cars came in. There goes Canas. And the others as well. So, but they fall into a bit of traffic, which lets them go. I think it was Hoffer. They let them go as Barufalo falls off the track. So everyone up to Hara has been lapped. The lead for Ongaro is going to be about 17 seconds. Yep, 17.8 seconds. Ronefag 1 second behind Canas. Boots falling off the back of these two after the error that put him down. So another lap in the books as they fly up and around and past Advertise Alleyway. It's a good chance to thank our sponsors, BeachRC.com, HB Racing Performer, Infinity, S-Works, JQ Racing, Scuderia Scampi Rosso, Hot Race Tyres, Savox Servos and Reds Engines. As we see a real race on the ground here for second place between Canas and Ronefag, who've been fighting for it basically the entire race long. It's swapped 2 or 3 times. And you can see how far apart Canas and Ronefag are. I think they're further apart on the display bar on the side of the screen they are in reality. They've actually drived in. They just went wide there, Ronefag, lost a few tenths. This is the minor margin. He just went slightly wide at that corner off the tabletop, and suddenly he's lost 3 or 4 tenths. He swoops round underneath Zach's camera. And they are absolutely together. Actually, they're not absolutely together because the car behind him now, that's the lapped car of Misha Vidmar. So another slightly poor lap for Ronefalk. Ronefalk's having a problem putting these together. Has dropped him off the back of Canas. Though oddly, he didn't actually get Elliott up to him. So Elliott's also having some struggles now. One of Elliott's run out of tyre. As we get now down to starting lap 60 with our leader. Looking at Canas at the moment. He's managed to give himself a bit of a breathing spot. In fact, he just carried on going round. The breathing space has been given to him by Ronefalk. 7/10 of a second gain again by Canas. It's interesting that Ongaro really is on a Sunday afternoon cruise at this point. He's turned it down by about half a second. He's losing a few tenths here and there, but it doesn't really matter. The gap is 17.3 seconds. The number of laps to go is 28. So if he carried on losing 0.7 of a second, he might get worried, but I'm sure there is so much available to be speeded up if he needs to, that won't be an issue. 39.7 that time round for Ongaro. Canas across the line now, and he does a 39.1, so 6/10 more, and it comes down to 16.7. It's kind of a sort of way they tantalise us commentators. That oh, it's going to get closer, it's going to be right on it very, very soon. As the cars have begun to string out again. Let's pick up our leader, Ongaro. He's about to go through the satellite hairpin, multicoloured car with the orange wingtips. Davide, the absolute star of the show when it comes to RCGP so far this season. Be interesting to see what happens in America. We already know that Ryan Cavalieri, one of the major stars of the US, will be there. Cole Ogden will be there, so we know we have at least 2 Americans. And we expect that Beach RC will be announcing an all-American team as well. So the chance of the Americans to show whether they can actually take on these Europeans in this format. Be interesting to see if that is the case. That lap round, Canas didn't gain anything. As Ongaro flies the car with the greatest of ease and looks to put another lap on Patrick Hoffer. Hoffer looked a bit surprised, but moves out of the way. And Ongaro continues in his merry way. Of course, he is the reigning world champion. Euros didn't go his way. Had a problem with the incredible final of the Euros, the wet and dry final. He had a few issues. Eventually, a couple of flame outs. Eventually, was only in retirement. I think he was classified 9th in the end, which resulted in the interesting top 25 rankings in the world, which is a made-up ranking system, showing how made up it was. It now ranks in the 4th best in the world, which is just ridiculous because it's done on a strange point system which penalises breakdowns and not actually recognises talent. And ended up in 4th place overall. And into the pits comes Davide, 64 laps. I still think he's going to need a splash to make 88. Doesn't matter. He's only at 64, 75, 86. He might just need an extra quick one at the end. So Ongaro will be slightly closer to everyone else at this point because he will have stopped, and Canas normally stops a lap or 2 earlier, later. Drops off the corner. Coming underneath us now. Yeah, Canas scored 12 seconds back. Not quite sure Canas is 12 seconds back, but there he is. His lead over Ronefalk's now 6, so we really are stretching out. Let's pick up Canas. He's just going down the secondary. He'll be under his Zach's camera any second now, red and blue. .23 proudly emblazoned on the side of his car. This is the lap where he's actually quite close to him, but there's the lead. He's down to 13. I thought he was going to get down at 12.5, but of course he does owe us a fuel. I think this might be a real gap. I think possibly he is going to save one stop. It's not going to be a full length stop, but it'll be half a stop. So this 12 or 13 second gap is not far off what the gap's actually going to be as he comes in for fuel. Does appear to have broken Ronefalk in this last session. And with that, we'll move into second overall in the championship. Hara's unfortunately had to withdraw. He's now has stopped for a while. He's several laps back. So Canas now 20 seconds behind. Ronefalk almost exactly 5 seconds behind him, but really good. This Ronefalk and Boots are right together. So let Canas go. Okay, if you can wait underneath here to pick up Ronefalk and Boots. Now underneath you now, Orange and Green, and there's Boots. So they are now much closer. Ronefalk and Boots battling for third and fourth. I'm not sure whether Boots is going fast or Ronefalk is going slow or whatever happened, but they were a little bit closer last lap. As Boots now comes into the hairpin. And Overstart finishing up the Infinity Tabletop. I think most of the battle they've got is to avoid being lapped, to be honest. I think the fact that because Ungaro's had an accident, I think Ungaro's either stopped again and we didn't notice it, or he's had a little bit of a minor accident. He lost 5 seconds in the last lap. I'm wondering whether he's done a short catch-up stop. So he has to stop once more. And doing it early, or it could have been an accident. You can't really tell, can you, really? Ronefalk getting away from Boots now, so that was obviously a false dawn of closest we had there. Canas down to 15 seconds behind. More problems for a couple of the cars. A couple of the cars been kind of constantly struggling. Lee Martin and Atsushi Hara amongst them had a number of problems. I'm just kind of going round now for pride more than anything else. As we turn the 70th lap, Canas's lead now 16 seconds behind. Canas appears suddenly to have lost a lot of speed, which is obviously being excellent news for the Boots and Ronefalk team tag match, but actually Ronefalk's Boots is really just falling off the back of Ronefalk. Move forward one car to Ronefalk. So Ronefalk one car forward into the gloaming underneath the orange and the green. Now I'm not sure whether that was a one-off bad lap for Canas or whether he's actually is going to be slowly caught now by Ronefalk, but a lot of pace has dropped at both. Oh dear. But a lot of pace has dropped at both. Oh, that's a complete disaster. So Boots gets him. It was like a combination disaster. I'm on one side, and Ronefalk's flame. Oh dear. This just he can't buy a piece of luck at all, Ronefalk. Flamed. Luckily, he has a lap lead over Valenti, so they can get the thing started again. He'll move up again. So if they can get it started again, then he will only drop like one position. But it looks a bit more serious, and it looks like Ronefalk will go, and that's Ronefalk's championship chances gone. And more importantly, it's going to get very, very difficult to get second place season at this point. What can you do? Thing went a bit wrong. Flamed, is still classed as fourth. Dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Not joined back again. And Boots runs into third. So that is another threat gone. Let's pick up our leader, who's about to cross start finish now. Ongaro goes across start finish now. So up on it, and he's dropping down in front of us. Those orange wingtips, which have been fluttering in the breeze the whole time, and the bane of the people are there. But Ronefalk, again, a bit of bad luck, flamed again. Not sure whether it's anything to do with running lean or just an accident, and he just sat in the pipe. Perhaps he sat in the pipe, and the pipe sat on the flywheel. I don't know. But the net result is that Ronefalk is out and not yet running again. So he will slowly drop down the field and slowly lose points. This man, Ongaro, 15 laps to go, has a 16-second lead. Boots is third. Did all his hard work, really, in the first 10 laps. Broke the rest of them. took away their desire entirely, and really was quite a thing to behold. But Ronefalk now out and into the pit stop with 14. No, so that was a mistake that time 4 laps ago. He had actually made one small mistake. Well, that's a bit remarkable. Now he's got 4. He will need to stop again. He won't do 14 laps on the last tank of fuel, but he will have a lead of 10, 12, 14 seconds at the end of it, unless obviously something goes wrong. And he's limiting his errors. Knaus, I don't think, Knaus has lost a little bit of his ground speed as Buffalo spectacularly crashes in front of everybody. I don't think Knaus is going particularly well either at the moment. Boots isn't going very well, I think, well, by their standards. I mean, obviously they're brilliant drivers and they're going brilliantly well in some ways. But you do kind of feel that the edge, their pace has dropped off slightly. And their chance of making a real push has probably evaporated with the pins on their tyres, which have also worn out. Whereas Ongaro, who has led from the off, don't think he was even headed at the first pit stop. He got, even though he went early, I think he got enough of a lead. He's going to lead all 88 laps. If he leads the next 13, that is the question. Will he lead the next 13? That is the question. Comes through the switchback and back under the roof. The interesting is, let's pick up Knaus. I think he'll be about due for a pit stop. Knaus coming under the bridge now. So Knaus, I think, will go into pits this time. That's one later. Yeah, maybe one more. So he's enjoying being less than 10 seconds behind. So last time round, lost a 10th. He would need the pace he had right at the start if he was going to catch up on Ongaro. He's just done a really good lap as well. 39.1 at this stage is a great lap. Boots has dropped off the back of this by 6 seconds. But Knaus comes in for fuel this time. Kind of thought he would. Running a absolute 11 lap strategy. 11, 11, 11, 11. And it's all looking particularly good for Ongaro. Knaus will come out now with the sort of the gap as we look at about 10 laps to go. And the gap is 18 seconds. So realistically, in the last couple of, I think in the last 3 pits, I think that has, in fairness to him, gained a whole 2 seconds. Oops, we probably lost him just there. Boots 5 seconds back. My guess is suffering a little bit of tyre wear. Valente looks like he might actually get a decent result. He's a whole lap behind Boots, but he is in 4th, and he is 7 seconds ahead of everyone else. And as we haven't shown him at all, let's pick up Valente. He's the Italian flagged car. He's about to go underneath where Zach is. The Italian flag, the green, white, and red. He's over the bridge now in the middle car. He's got cars all around him. That's Leonardo Valente in 4th. He's actually got McBride behind him, and he's got, I think, Hara ahead of him. Both have had times off the track. So Valente, the only person on that lap, I think. He's come here. He won RC2 in Fairing last event out a few weeks ago, and he's absolutely shone, I think. He's won two of the races. He's managed to get himself on pole a couple of times and absolutely dominated those races. He's won them from pole and controlled it. He hasn't got he knows he's not the fastest there, but when you're running a line, he can run a line. And Valente, I think, can go home. He had a bad set of finals yesterday, but he can go home with his head held high. And the S-Works team will go, this is a great transfer in. Scoring points, looking like he's got a damn fine chance of picking up 4th overall, which is a definite reward for the young man. And showing that the pace he showed in RC2 was not just because he was racing on a set tyres he knew or anything else. He has real pace. So 2 heat wins over the course of the weekend. And now a decent, it looks like, fourth place finish. Yep, not as fast as the others, but you don't need to be, because he's going to get himself ahead of Martin, Ronefelt, Hara, Hoffer, Quagrain, Mort, McBride, Vidmar, Avali, and probably Buffalo. Buffalo's going, it's back on maximum attack again, which is always a worry to anybody else, and he's probably worried the track markings too, to be honest. Lee Martin really is just going out and trying as much as he can. It's a nightmare, but I think he's now got the idea he can get past Ronefelt for some points. His last lap was 12 minutes. But I think he feels he can catch Ronefelt up and get a point because Ronnefelt's retired. Maybe quite a quiet bus home, that Swedish bus. It's really not worked for him again this weekend. That's 3 rounds of RCGP where it's just not worked for him. Hasn't been able to buy a break, to be honest. So, coming down to the last 6 laps, Canas has a 10-second lead, so I think we have possibly missed that last stop by Ongaro, the extra stop. Oop. Which we'll probably decide to make as early as possible. Boots is closing up on slightly on Canas. Okay, pick up Boots going down the underneath you right now, main straight, Harry. It's Boots is on the main straight. Orange and white in third. Just looking a tad quicker than Canas, but 4 seconds in 4 laps is unlikely unless Canas makes a mistake. But Boots, this is the real ebb and flow of this racing. I mean, the cars are coming and going to you all the way through as the grip changes, it moves around. Oh, I've got understeer, I've got oversteer. You know, sometimes it's just not working. This time, Boots is now looking a little bit quicker than Canas. He all went wrong about 15 laps ago when he had a big accident coming into the satellite turn and lost enough time to drop from second to fourth. Didn't really recover from that, to be honest. But he is slowly gaining on Juan Carlos Canas as our leader has just started lap 85 of 88. Will Boots gain this time? And the answer is yes, by 1/10 of a second. So he only needs another 35 laps to get past him. So let's keep going for another 35 laps. Let's keep going to Christmas, shall we? And see what happens. So RCGP round 6 coming to a close. We saw fantastic action in the 4 warm-up races, well, qualifying races. Win for the Leonardo Valente, a win for Carl McBride, and a couple of wins for Ongaro. A lot of frustrated drivers, quite a bit of beef this weekend. Had a few rows, had some finger pointing, had some very adult language as well at some points. But the net effect has not changed anything. The net effect is still the man who is leading this event and therefore leading this race is Davide Ongaro. And let's go to Ongaro now. He's on the satellite turn now. Davide Ongaro, because Davide Ongaro is about to start his final lap. And he's about to start his final lap of round 6. And he's going to win for the 6th consecutive time. And he is going to be crowned the RCGP champion. I'm pretty certain the trophy's not here, so we'll just have to imagine holding it aloft. But Davide Ongaro, who has been peerless, superb, impervious, amazing, fantastic. My superlatives don't have any bearing. I can't think of anything else to say about him because Ongaro is going to win this the 6th time. He's not put a wheel wrong. He's just sprinted ahead when others were scuffing. He's then reined it back to a speed fast enough to do what he needs to do. And Davide Ongaro is going to win round 6. He's going to win the RCGP World Series. He is going to win our hearts. Davide Ongaro, the champion. Canas comes in 2nd. Valenti comes in 4th. Boots comes in 3rd. And there we are. So well done for all of them. Buffalo, it's a long final. Barufalo got 5th in the world. Marco Ravaglione got 6th. Vidmaier seems to have got 7th, and then the rest of them really had some sort of problem in McBride, Moore, Hoffer, Quadgreen, Hara, Martin, everyone else. They all had little issues there and there, but that is the end of the RCGP. I'm going to go and interview some people. I'm going to give you the volume that is young Mr. James Parry.
Thank you very much, Nick. And whilst he makes his way over to the interview area, I will read out the results. In position 1 was Davide Ongaro, 2 was Juan Carlos Canes, 3 Elliot Boots, 4 Leonardo Valentine, 5 Marco Barufalo, 6 Marco Raviglia, 7 Mika Vidmaier, 8 Carl McBride, 9 Max Mort, 10 Patrick Hoffer, 11 Joseph Quaggreen, 12 Asushi Hara, 13 Lee Martin, and DNF was David Ronnefolk in last place. Whilst we just get ready for them to get to the interview area.
Yes, well, I'm here, but there's a lot of celebration going on with Davide Ongaro. Davide, first of all, I'm going to congratulate you on winning round 6.
Yeah, we are really, really happy. I think 1 hour in this track is really long, and the cars, tire, and engine works perfect now.
And now I'm going to congratulate you on being the RCGP World Series champion. Fantastic stuff.
Thank you, yeah, finally.
Well, I say finally, it took 3 rounds. You got a whole other round. So basically, the next round, you can just go out and go as fast as you like.
Yeah, for sure we go to USA.
The race itself, it seemed to me that in the first like 10-15 minutes you pushed very hard, and then it was like, no, I'm just going to pull it back.
Yeah, because I know that I did one fuel stop more than Juan Carlos and Elliot, so I try to go in the first 15 minutes and then take the rhythm.
Great stuff. Well done. Congratulations. Fantastic win. Well done, man. Cheers indeed. I'll get Elliot because I can't see Juan Carlos. Elliot in 3rd. There's not much you can do about Ongaro, but the rest of you were having a right old scrap.
Yeah, it was actually a good race. I enjoyed it. Some guy was saying that we've put our fastest lap towards the end. That's when I was trying to catch Canas. I made a mistake in the chicane, but it was quite a long crash. Marsh had to let a few cars through, so I had some catching up to do. I think David made the same mistake. Unfortunately, I think he broke his car there. So then I just pumped in the laps to try and catch Canas, but just a little bit, not enough.
How much was the car changing during the hour? Because it seemed there were certain points where, very noticeably against Juan Carlos especially, you were a bit slow and then suddenly you were faster than him again. And I can't think it was just in the mind. I kind of felt the way the car was moving around.
It can be set up, you know, like diff oil, shock oils going off, where I was quite heavy, so I knew that it would last a long time. But also tyres are a big thing. I was on the S3s, so they tend to come in a bit later on once they get a bit more heat into them. But for sure you had to stay on line, otherwise you were just on ice.
Thank you, Elliot. And now 2nd place finisher, Juan Carlos Canas, who wandered off. He wandered off, and we got him back again. Juan Carlos, 2nd place. You must be happy with that.
Yes, I'm super happy. It was a really hard final. I have good consistent, I think, for me. At the end, I'm a little nervous because Elliot was super fast, and I have to not do mistake and finish overall 2nd, Elliot 3rd, 2 car in podium. I think all team is happy.
How much did your car's handling change during the hour?
The first was super good, but at the end I feel that it's too soft. It's too soft, but it's normal. It's 1 hour hot, normal.
Great stuff, and you're now second overall, and you've got a good chance to finish second overall. Well done, Juan Carlos. Great stuff. So those are the top 3 finishes. Now, there's lots more that's going to go on over here. We'll probably end the live stream pretty soon, but there will be all sorts of content. There'll be pictures, there'll be videos, there'll be press conferences, there'll be awards ceremonies. All of those will be up on the RCGP Facebook, YouTube, and the website. So don't forget to check back regular those sites to see what's going on in the wonderful world of RCGP. We've had another fantastic final. We've had another fantastic weekend's racing. We're doing it all again in the good old US of A, back on the second weekend of October. We hope you'll be with us there. It should be fantastic, bringing the RCGP World Series to the US. Lots of US drivers for US fans, best of Europe, and we'll have, of course, Carl McBride from Australia and Tsuchihara, hopefully, from Japan. Multiple continents all racing the World Series, but that's in a few weeks' time. For now, it's goodbye from Asti, from us, the TV crew. Myself, Nick Doman, behind that camera, Zach Fenning, doing all the real work, Matt McCallum, helping him do all the real work, James Parry, and of course, Mr. Camera himself, Harry Bamford. Thank you all. We will see you in a few weeks' time for the RCGP USA!